Hey everyone, I'm Mine, and this is set number 71775, Nya's Samurai X Mech from the LEGO Ninjago theme. This set contains 1,003 pieces, 8 minifigures, and will retail for $119.99 in the US. This set does not come out until June 1st, 2022 in most parts of the world, and August 1st, 2022 in North America, but it was sent to me early by the LEGO group through the LEGO Master Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. Before I get started, I'd just like to ask you guys to please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm doing early reviews of all 9 of the Summer 2022 LEGO Ninjago sets, as well as early reviews of the Summer 2022 LEGO Minecraft sets, and lots of other very exciting stuff down the line. Only about 16% of my audience is actually subscribed to the channel, so if those kinds of videos sound interesting to you, by liking the video and subscribing it'll help you see them as soon as they're posted, and will also really help support me and the channel. But with all that being said, let's get on to the review. So here is the main build of Nya's Samurai X Mech, and this is a super cool looking mech. It's sort of unlike anything else we've ever gotten. The colors are super cool, I love the bright blue on it, and the red X in the center really gives it a cool feel. It feels like it's a logo for Samurai X, which is something we've never really gotten before. Like a big logo on the chest, that's just really fun in my opinion. Similar to the Titan mech from last year, this mech actually does have knees, which is something that's not very common in LEGO and Ninjago mechs, but it's always very exciting when we get it, so that does lead to far more posability options with this one. On the other hand of that, it can be a bit more difficult to pose this one and keep it up, because knees do lead to more fragility, but if you do get it in a nice pose, like look, this looks so much more organic than having false knees or no knees at all. So I do really appreciate that those are included here, and it's very cool to see it in a mech of this scale, because this is larger than Zane's Titan mech, and I'll do a size comparison at the end of this video, comparing this to some other Ninjago mechs. For now though, let's take a look at each part of the mech up a little bit closer. To start, here's the feet of the mech, and they're a fairly decent size, which is important because you kind of need that for the mech to be stable. You can see there's a stickered piece at the front, stickers along the sides of the legs, and you can see in terms of motion there's just a little bit of forward and back here, as well as quite a bit of side to side. The forward and back is limited, but that's so that it doesn't topple over too easily because of the knees. And I have noticed with previous mechs, sometimes if they topple forward or topple backwards, they'll break parts of the foot, but this seems to be intentionally designed so that doesn't happen. It all feels very sturdy at the base right here, which makes me very happy to see. I think that's great for kids, and also just good for display. The other leg's exactly the same, and you can see actually the inside and outside of the legs are exactly identical. Which is nice, because sometimes they go for less detail on the inside. But no, this time around they made it very detailed from every angle. And I mean, even the back, it has anti-studs, but I still think it looks fairly nice. Moving up the leg though, we come to the knee, and this uses the sea-bound cockpit pieces recolored in gold and just regular black. These have never come in a color that isn't transparent before, I don't believe, so just the solid black is a really cool recolor. And these are meant to sort of cover up the knee functionality to make the entire build look more organic. So I flip these down. You can see these are the ball joints that make up the knee right here, and it's cool to see, but it's not the prettiest to look at. So this covering it up means that when the knee is turned, and you can see here's the articulation on the knee, you can move it in pretty far. Now most of this motion will not actually be posable, but if you want to actually be carrying the mech and have it like kicking or whatnot, yeah, you can have it do that. And it's like an actual knee, you can't really bend it forward, but you can bend it back. Yeah, that's really well done, and actually very representative of how real-life knees work. Coming to the tops of the legs, you can see they're connected on one of these circular joints, and they've got about the articulation you'd expect. You can move them forward, move them back, and because that's connected on a rigid tendon joint, you can move them up, but only one notch, and then down ever so slightly. Not a ton of range of motion there, though, because there is other stuff that gets in the way. Still, that allows you to have more of a wide stance pose if you prefer that over just like a standing straight up pose. You can see at the top of the legs you have these pieces on mini ball joints that come down, and these are supposed to be maybe like artificial cloth to go over the legs, and it has very similar functionality to the kneecaps, so it's sort of meant to cover up the machinery. You can flip these up and see like the actual tactic system underneath, but with them closed down it makes the entire mech feel a lot more put together. They've done this before, I forget on which mech, but it's a really effective technique and it's always a great one to see. And they even do it around the back here, which is a nice touch. Moving up to the top of the leg, you have this stickered piece with an X on it. That's just, I guess, to add to the whole Samurai X aesthetic. And once again, you can see that's used on both sides. Then coming back around front up into the body, you have another sticker right here with some gold armored plating, and then this little bit of detail that has this symbol that's used on the Golden Ninja this wave, as well as in a few other places, which you'll see with the minifigures. And then we come up to that big red X that I mentioned before, and it's got the smaller gold X in the middle. And as I said, this is one of the coolest parts of the set. It really like commands the overall look of this, and really makes it pop and stand out. The bottom parts of the X can be moved ever so slightly if you want. Personally, I think it's best to have them wrap around like that, but if you'd rather have them out, you can. And you can see the golden sea-bound blade pieces are used here too. Quick note while editing, something you guys probably already noticed, one of those sea-bound blades is just upside down. I somehow did not notice this at all while filming, but here's an image of how it's supposed to look. Coming up to the head, this is really interesting. We usually don't get heads like this on Ninjago mechs, but it's got like a very robotic look to it, a horn at the top of the head, And I like how this looks, like 360 degrees. It all looks pretty nice. This is on a mini ball joint, as you just saw. It can rotate 360 degrees. You can also move it around a little bit. So there's a lot of personality you can put into this build just by the different ways you angle the head. And I always love to see things like this. Yeah, this is really good. But then actually, if you pull back on the head, you can open up into the cockpit. And this is where there's room for a minifigure to sit. Looking at the wall, it looks like there's a drawing of Nya's Samurai X Mech as well as the original 4 Ninja. Or maybe that's a drawing of Among Us? But yeah, that looks like that's sort of meant to be a throwback to 2012. So that's really cute to see. And on the other side, there's another stickered part which just has a console, and that's got a screen that shows this mech on it as well as a few buttons. If I actually want to sit a minifigure in the mech, I can do that like this. There is Nya actually in the pilot seat. And then once you have your minifigure in there, you can close this back up around them. And there you go, the minifigure is completely hidden, you can't even see them in the mech. Which is cool, that's another thing we don't get often in mechs. Usually the minifigure is very visible. Not saying that one's better than the other, but it's still cool to have variety in the kinds of Ninjago mechs we get. Now coming to the arms, you have these giant shoulder blades on the side, you have the Samurai X logo right there, and these shoulder blades also double as cannons. Because you can see they are mini ball joints, right? They can move around a little bit. But that's not just the angle of shoulder blades, it's also you could face them forward, and there you can see there's a spring-loaded shooter in there. As always with spring-loaded shooters, you push down to the back, and it'll shoot out. And I think that's a simple yet effective transformation, but I do find it a little bit funny when you have the shoulder blades in actual shoulder blade mode. Nya is just sort of pointing the cannons at the head of her own mech. Another note while editing, I forgot spring-loaded shooters are symmetrical, so no, you're not supposed to point the cannons at the head of her own mech. You're supposed to put the blast in the other way around. The way I showed still works, but here's a little bit of footage showing the intended way to do it. The arms are on a very similar connection system to the legs. They're on one of these circular connections, so there's a wide range of motion, and they can also be moved up or down. Then there is actually elbows on the arms, which can be moved in or moved out, as well as rotated 360 degrees. The forearm right here switches to more black and gold. You have like a straw hat right here, and I love how the shaping on this looks good from every angle. Like even if I turn this over, like it's not as pretty as the top, but it still looks complete. And that's not something I see too often with mechs, so that makes me very happy to see. And then we're coming down to the hand, and I have to say, this is one of the best looking mech hands we've ever gotten. So it's connected to the arm on a ball joint, and as such, it has typical ball joint range of motion. Lots of different angles you can put this in. But then the hand uses 3 of these robot arm pieces with stamp pieces on the very end. But I think the stamp pieces make for great fingertips, and actually add a lot beyond just the robot arms. I think that gives it a super nice look. There's also a thumb on a ball joint in the back, and that can be posed individually. There's how the top of the hand looks with the fingers splayed out, and of course you can see there is the sword in the hand. Here's a look at that sword up close. It uses this new massive golden blade piece. This comes in a few sets this wave, in a few different colors as well. It's used in gold, for example, on the wings of the Ultra Dragon, but I think it's a really cool new part, and it fits really well for a sword for this mech. Yeah, I like how this looks. And then when we come to the other arm, everything's pretty much exactly the same, just mirrored. It's got the same texturing, same stickers, same everything, which honestly I'm okay with. A lot of times mechs will try to be asymmetrical, so seeing a symmetrical one is actually kind of cool to see, and it does look really nice. And then finally, here is one last look at the back of the mech, and I think that's a fairly nice looking mech back. Maybe those gold ingot pieces are a little bit overused here, but I don't mind it, and I think it's fairly solid overall. And then finally, the side build in the set, we have this little crystal creature. This guy is wacky, but I love him. He uses the Evo J-Dragon head, but recolored in gunmetal gray and trans pink, and that makes it look like he has these crystals coming out of his head. But something interesting is he doesn't have any eyes. Like, there's no printing or anything here, so that makes us very much feel like a construct, not like an organic being, and I think that's super cool. You can see there's a little tongue in there, and then like the bottom of a mouth. But this mouth can't open or anything. These crystal blades on the side can, though. However, I feel like it usually looks best to just leave those up. The head itself's on a ball joint, so you can move it around a little bit, pose it. And then each of the arms are on individual ball joints as well. You can see they use the Evo limb pieces recolored in purple. Very cool to see that in a new color. Makes me want to make more Evo mechs. And he's got these brand new crystal blade pieces. This is a different design than the gold blades, but it's about the same size, and you can see it's in trans pink here. And then these smaller crystal blades along the sides of the arms. Just has these 2 funny little fingers at the very end of his arms, and that is the exact same build on the other side. Moving on, you can see these gunmetal parts sort of cascade down his back. More of that crystal aesthetic back here. And then the back legs are just on mini ball joints. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what this thing's deal is. It just seems sort of ominous and goofy and fun, but I really like that it's included, and I appreciate them including something for the mech to fight. So here are the first 2 minifigures in the set. We have Samurai X Nya and Golden J. Something really cool about this set is 6 of the 8 figures are actually exclusive, so there is only 2 figures in the set that are not exclusive. One of those figures you can see right here is Golden J. He does come in one other set, the Golden Dragon, but the cheapest way to get this figure is this set. Take a look at the figures themselves though. This new Samurai X Nya is really interesting. It's a completely different aesthetic from previous Samurai X Nyas. And that's because she uses blue as her main color this time around, not red. She does still have a little bit of red, you can see in her belt right there, and I appreciate that they did keep that. It reminds me a lot of her Hands of Time suit, and I think it looks really good. The legs are also gunmetal gray, very similar to her normal ninja suits, as well as, again, her Hands of Time suit. And then she's got this golden armor coming up her body into the classic Samurai X helmet, but she does have an all-new horn piece here. This horn piece is a part of the new golden weapon accessory pack that comes in every set this wave. Here's what that looks like. You get 2 of every golden weapon as well as 2 of these Samurai X horns. So that piece is not like exclusive to this set, but I believe this is the only set that piece is actually used in. That armor she's wearing, you guys probably recognize it, but that is the Mr. E armor in gold, and I think that fits her pretty well. She's used that before, I believe. Yeah, on her legacy suit she used that armor. And then if we take her helmet off, you can see she just has her same standard face print underneath that. And there's her back torso print as well as her alternate face. I'm very curious what this suit means for the show. Like, why is Nya back? Why is she human? Why is she Samurai X instead of a ninja? I'm not sure. My guess is this is one of 2 things. Number 1 is just this is not a canon minifigure at all. This was just made up for the sets, but in the show this mech's going to be controlled by Pixel, and Nya just straight up does not come back in this form. But number 2, if Nya actually is back, I would assume the Samurai X armor is actually made out of Vengestone, and that's like suppressing her element so that she can be back in human form, and that's also why she's Samurai X again instead of a ninja. Because she doesn't have her water power, so she might as well go back to being Samurai X. Yeah, very, very curious. I'm excited to see, like, what comes of this. And then Golden Jay I did already cover in my Golden Dragon review, but of course I'll talk about him again here. And I think he's good, but he's definitely my least favorite of the Golden Ninja this wave. Just something seems a little bit off about his armor design, I don't know what it is. But I do like the new mask piece, and he's got that new symbol on his forehead that all the Golden Ninja share. And if I move his torso, you can see that gold printing reflects in the light, which looks really cool. And then he's just got a regular ninja robe underneath all of that. There is how he looks with his mask removed. And there is his back torso print as well as his alternate face. Back torso print, you can see he's got his classic J symbol right there with the letter J. And alternate face is the same one he's had since the movie. Yeah, in my opinion, Nya is a great new variant to get, and Jay is good, but definitely the worst of the Golden Ninja. Still cool to get both of them here. Next, we have a pair of really interesting minifigures. We have Wu and Oni Garmadon. Starting with Wu, this version of Wu is fascinating. You can see he's wearing the dragon armor from Hunted, which makes me really excited for this season. Does this mean Firstborn's coming back? Does this mean Wu's gonna actually be riding Firstborn again? I really hope so, because that would be so cool to see. But regardless, it's just exciting to see that piece come back. He's also got this flag attachment on the back of his armor, and that's got that same symbol the Golden Ninja have. I've talked about it in other reviews, and all these are pre-recorded, so if somebody has answered it already, I will not have that information. But I'm not sure exactly what this symbol means. I've checked it with the Ninjago alphabet, and it's very similar to the Ninjago letter R, but it's not exactly the same, so this might be an all-new symbol. But yeah, I'm very curious what that means. It's on all the Golden Ninja, it's on a few of their vehicles, and you can see it's here on Wu's banner as well. And now, taking the dragon armor off, you can see Wu's full torso and leg print, and wow, that looks so good. As you can see, he's got like his robes, of course, as always, but underneath them, he's got like this gold-plated armor, and all that is metallically printed. It reflects in the light. I think this is one of the coolest Wu suits of all time. He really does look like he's ready to fight in battle, and I'm so excited to see this in the show. And then turning him around, you can see he has his ponytail at the back, and he's got this symbol, which I believe he's had before. That's printed in metallic gold as well. Then coming to Oni Garmadon, this is such an exciting figure to get. Oni Garmadon appeared in March of the Oni, but we never got him physically. And this is a much different design to that version of Oni Garmadon, but I have to say this is a significantly better version. Oni Garmadon in March of the Oni looked very, very silly, but this actually looks ominous and cool, and actually feels like Garmadon is an Oni here. Strangely, Garmadon does only have 2 arms. I'm curious what happened to the other 2. Is he going to have 4 arms in the show and they just reduced it down for the minifigure? Or does he really only have 2 arms now? Regardless, you can still see like his resurrected design on his torso and everything. And he uses this all-new samurai helmet piece, which was introduced with this wave. This comes in a few sets, and it's meant to be a replacement for the biker helmets that they used in Sons of Garmadon. Because the Oni face on Garmadon is just a regular Oni mask, but the old biker helmets wouldn't really fit Garmadon here, so they created a new helmet piece for him and Lloyd this wave, and that allows the Oni mask to attach to the piece, but you're not able to flip them up like you are on the biker helmets. However, of course, you still can take the mask off if you want. And with that removed, you can see his face from underneath. Unfortunately, I do believe that is just the Legacy Garmadon face. Doesn't look like there's anything new there, which is a little bit disappointing to see. It would have been cool to get a new Garmadon face, but the Legacy face is a very good face for Garmadon, so I don't mind it too much. And then, of course, you can see Garmadon uses the Legacy Skulkin armor for his shoulder pads. And then on the back torso print, he's got the same design as Wu, though this time around in silver instead of gold, and then he's got a purple belt at the very bottom, very similar to his 2011 and 2012 design. Yeah, super cool new figure here. Very exciting to get both of these guys in this set. Then here are the next two figures in this set. We have Lil Nelson and a Vengestone Warrior. Lil Nelson is completely unexpected for this set. I'm not sure why he's here. He's never been too significant of a character in the show. He's had small parts, but yeah, this is an all-new figure with so many new parts. And that gets me very excited for this character in the show, because this figure being so detailed indicates to me that maybe he has a pretty big part. But this new design for him is so cool, way better than his previous designs. You can see he reuses the hidden side like hat hood combo piece, and on the front of the hat you have this printing that sort of looks like it's Wu. It's also sort of similar to the golden ninja symbol that they all have, but like there's these eyes going down and that sort of makes it look like Wu's hat and beard. So maybe that's what that is, and maybe that is what the golden ninja symbol is. I'm not sure. You can see his face print, he's got this very stern expression, and then he's got like this purple mask, which I guess is maybe meant to be like a ninja mask, but it's printed onto his face. And then his torso has this really cool purple and blue design. He's got like this purple vest over top of a blue shirt, and I think that looks really cool. Got lots of zippers and everything, which are printed in metallic silver, and you have a little bit of writing in the Ninjago language right there, which says LN, I assume, for Lil Nelson. And then in terms of his accessories, he also comes with a banner just like Wu, and it's got that same like golden ninja symbol on it. And then turning him around, you can see he has the like Deadpool katana holder piece in black, and comes with two blue katanas. Here's how he looks with his accessories removed. You can see he's got this much happier, more cheerful face. Very cool that we're finally getting like an official face print for Nelson. It's not just reusing a Lego City face. And there's that same sort of Wu-like symbol on the back. And then the Vengestone Warrior I've covered in other reviews, but in short, he's very, very good looking. Love all the trans pink hues and like the crystal design on his torso. I like the armored bit on one arm and like how the bits of gold are breaking through. I think he is the worst of the two variants of like the Vengestone army, but he is still really good looking, and the transparent parts are for sure the highlight. And really good back torso print as well, with those like crystals coming up his torso. And then the final two figures in the set are perhaps the most exciting ones. Here we have Pythor and the Mechanic. These guys are so cool to see, and it's so cool to get two of the Vengestone generals in one set. So the Mechanic, this is our first time getting this guy in a retail set. He did come in the Ninjago City Gardens, but that was a D2C, which is very expensive. So while this is still an expensive set, this is a much, much more affordable way for kids to get him. And then this new Pythor, it's been years since we last got a Pythor. Like, I guess we got him in Legacy, but our last white Pythor was in Day of the Departed in 2016. So it's so cool to see Pythor's back here, and yeah, this design for him looks awesome. His head's very similar to his design from 2016, though this time around he has pink eyes, while in previous iterations his eyes have been slightly more red. Additionally, the gem on the top of his head is now pink instead of blue. I guess that's to give him the overall like corrupted, crystallized aspect. I really love the metallic printing on the tail and how like the armor continues down into it. This is such a cool look for Pythor, and I think this is just a fantastic minifigure all around. The Mechanic is good. The only part about him that's exclusive is the new face print. The torso is used on every other Vengestone general, and then the legs are used on most of the other Vengestone generals. But for example, of course, Pythor does not have those legs. But yeah, it's the same torso between the two of them, so I'm not going to take Pythor's head off because you know what the torso looks like right here. And then they both have this new like crystallized armor piece, which does come in a few sets, but it looks so cool. It's subtle. I like how it's not that big. And it's got studs at the back if you want to attach a back attachment, but it's super cool looking. However, now he has like a reddish pinkish eye instead of just a normal minifigure eye. His robotic eye is more pink, and then his smile is slightly different too. In terms of accessories, the Mechanic just comes with like this pink lightning blaster, but Pythor comes with the crystallized nunchucks of lightning. These crystallized blades come in a total of 4 sets, and they're a way to sort of like corrupt the golden weapons. So you can see the nunchucks of lightning are actually slid in here, but if I want to remove these, you can pull this out of the top, detach this from the bottom, and there's how the blade looks with them removed. You can attach the Shuriken device, Sword of Fire, nunchucks of lightning, or set the Quakes here. But in this set, they intend for you to attach the nunchucks. As I showed you earlier with the piece on Nia's helmet, though, you do get every single golden weapon in this set, so if you'd rather swap it out for one of the others, you can. And the new nunchucks of lightning are okay. I think I definitely prefer the Legacy versions, but these are a fine alternative, and the Legacy versions wouldn't work with the Crystal Sword, so it makes sense why they are new here. And I think when they're crystallized, they do look really good. Here's a full look of the Vengestone General torso on the Mechanic with the armor removed. Again, I think he looks absolutely great. He's got like the Overlord symbol in the center, and then these purple arms on the sides. And then the legs and everything are super detailed, lots of intricate little lines. It just feels like a very complete figure. It doesn't really feel like they held back at all here, which is a great thing to see. And then here's how the back of that torso looks. Just armored plating and whatnot. Nothing too special, but there's a bit of metallic printing which looks pretty cool, and it does look nice. But the front is definitely the highlight. highlight. And then finally, to end off this video, here's a size comparison of this mech compared to 2 other Ninjago mechs. You can see it's bigger than Zane's Titan mech, but not by a lot. There definitely is a lot more going on with this one though. And it's similar in scale to the Ultra Combo mech from earlier this year. Ultra Combo mech is bulkier in some places, this mech's bulkier in some places, and you can see the head on Nya's mech does rise slightly higher than the head on the Ultra Combo mech. And for reference, with the prices on these, Zane's is $60, Nya's is $120, and the Ultra Combo mech is $90. And that leads me into the conclusion of this video. What are my overall thoughts on this set? I have a criticism with this set that I never thought I would have, and that is, my biggest issue with it is, I wish it had more stickers, which is something I never thought I'd say because I've never been the world's biggest sticker fan. But aesthetically, this thing is really cool, except for the fact that it feels a little too simple in some places. Not from a design standpoint, the design is actually really intense. Lots of like intricate sculpting and everything, but there's just a lot of very flat colors. It almost feels like a creator set to me. As such, I feel like more stickers would help add to the detail of this set, especially like on the red X in the center, but even running up the arms and legs too. Other than that though, I do think this is a very good mech. The knees are always very cool to see. It does lead to balance issues because this is a very heavy mech, so there's even less poses you could get this one in compared to Zane's mech. But I think that's a fair trade-off, and the knees make for a much more realistic looking build. And then there's one final thing that I need to touch on, and that is the price. Now the price has been one of people's biggest issues with this wave of Ninjago sets, and having it in hand, do I feel like it's a $120 set? From the build alone, no, I don't think it is, but considering the minifigures and supply chain issues and everything else, I actually think this is one of the fairer priced sets of this wave, because looking at it compared to the Combo Mech is a $90 set, this is $30 more for about the same sized mech. However, the minifigures in this set are significantly better, they're a lot more detailed and 6 of them are exclusive, so that's like 6 figures that are put in production only for this set. Additionally, there's quite a few big pieces used, and the side build is solid for what it is. So yeah, I mean, is it a perfectly priced set? No, for sure not. But compared to the other sets this wave, this is one of the more fairly priced ones. So would I recommend this set? Yes, 100% I would. Obviously, I know $120 is a lot of money, so not everybody's going to be able to buy it. But if you can afford this set, this is one I highly recommend you pick up. Minifigures are by far the highlight, but the build is really good as well, and I think it's going to look really nice on a shelf. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. As I said at the beginning of this video, if you enjoyed it, if you could please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. More Ninjago reviews and other fun stuff coming very, very soon, so by subscribing I'll help you see it as soon as it's posted, and also really help support me in the channel. But I think that's about all I have to say here. So thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!